Hello everyone, this is Apex, and watching the #1 Zywoo hater in the world.
Well, it was only yesterday I did my pick'em video and I talked through all the teams and why, and it turns out already I have to actually make an update, an addendum, and change one of my picks because some breaking news that came in today was that sadly the Russian team 9pandas, who was a surprise to qualify, but nevertheless did out of that last chance qualifier thing, this was a team where actually like that glowing kid looked pretty interesting, like he was pretty much hard carrying them through. Obviously they have C's, the old Na'Vi player from back in the day, who used to be a mega support, admittedly 9-10 years ago. And this was a team where, people were interested to see how they do. This is a team that's obviously been grinding online. Sadly, for whatever reasons, it's something visa related, they weren't able to attend the event. PGL's statement was that by the specific date that you had to have everyone in Denmark to play the major, that this team, they claimed, only had 3 eligible players in terms of like registered and with visas, etc. So instead, they have been replaced by the team they beat for this spot, which was GamerLegion of Snacks. It's obviously the team that, if everyone remembers, was in the final of the Blast Paris major at the end of CS2. But Shuhei was the in-game leader at the time. He was then signed back to Mouse Sports. Imo was the guy who carried that performance with MVP level performance, and he obviously went to Na'Vi. And so they're a very different squad now. Now they have Snacks in. He's the in-game leader even. So what I would say is this. Obviously, they also have Volt, the player who was in Into the Breach at the last major. So what I would say is this. They actually only very narrowly lost to 9pandas. Actually, the last map was 13-11, if people don't know. So I actually do want to update my pick'em as a result. So if we go into the game, the key thing here is this. I had my pick'em set already. But if you remember, the actual one I ummed and ahed over at the end was Saw, because I'm not a big fan. Quite frankly, I'll just say it straight up. They're a solid team, but they just have too little experience on LAN. So I don't really buy that the fragging they were doing online can maintain. I definitely don't buy that the fragging they did at the RMR can maintain. If people didn't see, like, most of them were fragging out. Like, they would actually low-key, like, sleeper. Unless they're, like, the new Gambit or something. I just don't buy that that team is actually going to come, or Monty is actually going to come and dominate. If they do, fair play, then I'll give them the credit. But some of these players I've known for a while, some of them are newer. In general, I just don't particularly care about that storyline. I expect them to do worse at the major itself, on LAN, with all the pressure and all the big teams there, etc. So quite frankly, I'm going to take Saw out. And obviously, I didn't have 9pandas anyway. I'm not that big a fan of the team. But I'm going to say I'm going to put GamerLegion in as the last team. And the reason why I'm going to pick GamerLegion to make it is this. I get why if you were to go to the Liquipedia, you'd go GamerLegion. Who cares about them? Because they never make deep placings with this lineup, do they? Since Snacks joined, they're never making top 4s. They're in the mix to win tournaments. But I'll tell you what, go and look at the actual paths they make through tournaments, right? The amount of times this team, by the way, has beaten people like FaZe or played them incredibly close. The amount of times they get a map off top teams in a series. The amount of times they get an upset win and beat a big team like a FaZe or a Virtus.pro. By the way, Virtus.pro have best of 3 and a Monty, etc. And then they go, and then what happens is they're the team that upset a bigger squad and then lose and just don't make it through. They're not consistent. Here's the problem. They don't have enough firepower. They're actually a canny little squad. They're not bad on CT sides. In general, like Acor's a pretty decent player, obviously. They have a solid enough team. I actually think Snacks is doing a good job IGLing. They seem like an interesting mix of players. The guy seems like he's willing to be supportive where necessary. So I actually do think it's a canny little squad, but they're more of upset merchants to me. So I do think people haven't looked at the strength of opponent that they've been able to beat. Even so, they're like some super duper mega team. I wouldn't have them making top 8 at this major, but I'm going to take them to make this next round though. I think with the quality of their players, a bunch of them have played at majors before. Obviously, Snacks is mega experienced, has even won a major. You have people like a whole bunch of teams in here who are inexperienced and they're newer squads, or they're just not particularly quite good. I mean, I was saying at the end of the last one, I just think a lot of the other teams aren't that good, quite frankly. So I'm going to take GamerLegion's team to make it through to the next phase. Probably won't do anything there, but they can get past this phase of the tournament, in my opinion, especially the BO1s. They could even upset and beat some of the big... Maybe they'll beat an Eternal Fire or something at that point in time. Hear me now. Because the thing is, I wouldn't be able to get all the work I do without my brethren, the Mandem, in the Skrilluminati, my Patreon community, because this video, like all of them on my channel, is kindly supported by Frisky, Matt Pugnatio Rajcula, Ahmed Hadjou, Jensen Goh, Tobias Bernasconi, Animosity, Toucan, Tosh, and you know it, a special thanks always goes out to Jerky's Minion, who always has my back. Would you like to ask a question in my regular AMAs? Do you want to suggest a topic or a guest I could take in my work? Do you want teasers? Find out who the upcoming guests are going to be. Maybe you want to be part of those lengthy esports discussions I do with my top donators. Well, if so, put your money where your mouth is and join the Skrilluminati today, where? Via the Patreon link in the description box below.